Most researchers are missing the obvious gaps that are right in front of them. Despite all the available resources and advanced tools that are now available, many scholars overlook the critical gaps that could really make a big difference in their field. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is a new channel, and your support means the world to me. So please subscribe to this channel so that I will be able to continue making quality videos for you. Also, please ring the notification bell so you never miss out on any new content that I upload. So in today's video, we'll cover how you can quickly identify the gaps in your research topic, whether you're doing your thesis or your dissertation research. It doesn't matter. These rules still apply. I'll also give you some tips on how you can identify which gaps you should aim to fill in your dissertation or thesis study. Identifying the research gaps is essential for contributing original and valuable knowledge to your field. Okay, guys, let's get started. So the first thing you will need to do is to conduct a thorough literature review. So a thorough literature review is the foundation for identifying the research gaps. So here's how to do it effectively. You will start by searching the academic databases like PubMed, PsycInfo, Google Scholar, ProQuest, and your university library. Please use keywords that are related to your topic to find relevant papers. So you want to identify and review the top journals in your field. So look for review articles and recent publications to understand the current state of research. You should also pay attention to the methodologies, findings, and conclusions of previous studies. So you want to look for patterns and recurring themes, right? As you read, take detailed notes on what has been done so far on your topic, what questions have been answered already, and then you'll be able to figure out what gaps still exist. Some articles may also have some information on recommendations for future research. And this will be a good indication of the gaps that still exist on that topic that you can address in your own research. For example, suppose your research topic is on the impact of remote work on employee productivity. You would search for studies on remote work, productivity metrics, and related factors like communication and collaboration. The second thing that you should do, or step 2 in this process, is to identify any recurring themes and limitations that you find in the literature. So here's how to identify recurring themes and limitations. You want to look for common findings across multiple studies. These will indicate well-established knowledge because this will be reliable data about your topic. Note any contradictory results, as these can signal areas that need further investigation. You want to pay close attention to the limitations section of research papers because authors often point out the gaps and limitations of their own studies. So many papers include a section on future research directions, right? And as I mentioned before, these suggestions are golden opportunities for identifying the gaps in the research that's related to that specific topic. For example, so in the remote work productivity studies, you might find that while some research shows increased productivity, there may be other studies that indicate that there is a decline in productivity. So authors may note that more research is needed on specific industries or the long-term effects of remote work. So step 3 in the process of identifying the gaps is analyzing the scope of the existing research. So you want to consider the following: the geographical scope, right? So has the research been conducted globally, or is it limited to certain regions or to your specific country, right? The next thing you want to consider is the demographic scope. Are there certain populations or demographic groups that have been underrepresented in the previous studies that have been done on that topic, right? So if there certain groups that have not yet been represented in those studies, then that's maybe a good opportunity for you to conduct your research on that particular demographic group, so that then you have data, there'll be data available in the field thanks to your research, right, about that particular demographic group. You also want to consider the methodological scope, right? So have different methodologies been used, and are there methods that have not yet been explored? You want to also think about the temporal scope. Is the research up to date? Have recent changes or developments been considered? For example, you might find that most studies on remote work productivity are based in North America and Europe, with limited research on how it impacts employees in Africa or Asia. So this geographical gap could be a potential area for your research. So step 4 in the process is determining which gaps you should aim to fill. So here's the strategy to help you decide. You want to choose a gap that aligns with your personal interests and your academic strengths. So passion for the project will really sustain your motivation throughout the research process. You want to also assess the feasibility of addressing each gap that you find. Consider the availability of resources, the access that you have to the necessary data that you'll need, and the time constraints that may apply. So you want to evaluate the relevance and potential impact of filling the gap. So choose a gap that can contribute significant new knowledge or practical applications to your field. You also want to seek guidance from your academic advisors / mentors / committee members. They can provide valuable insights into which gaps are worth pursuing and how to approach those gaps. For example, if you're interested in the impact of remote work on productivity in different cultural contexts, and you have access to international data, you might choose to investigate how remote work practices vary across cultures or in different countries and their impact on productivity. So the final step is to formulate your research question. So this will be your primary research question or your main research question. So this research question should be specific, it should be focused, it should have clarity, and then it should also be researchable. So here's how to craft a strong main research question. So make sure your question is specific enough to be answered within the scope of your study. You need to keep your question focused on addressing the identified gap. You want to ensure that your question is clear and unambiguous. Okay, so it should be clear. There should be no doubt in terms of what you mean when you write that question. You should also ensure that you can verify that your question, that it can be answered through empirical research. For example, building on the previous steps that I just went over, a strong research question might be, how do remote work practices impact employee productivity in different cultural contexts? So identifying research gaps is a critical step in conducting meaningful and impactful research, right? By conducting a thorough literature review, identifying recurring themes and limitations, analyzing the scope of existing research, and choosing which gaps to fill, you can set the stage for a successful thesis or dissertation paper. To learn some common mistakes that students usually make when they're writing their dissertation or thesis paper, or if you would like to learn how you can easily choose the right dissertation or thesis topic for your study, please click on the next videos on your screen. I hope this video has provided you with valuable insights and practical tips in terms of how you can choose the gaps in your research and find those gaps. Don't forget to subscribe for more academic tips and insights. If you found this video helpful, please give it a big thumbs up, leave a comment below, and share it with anyone else who you think may benefit from this information. I'll leave you with a motivational quote from Sam Levinson. Who said, don't watch the clock. Instead, do what it does. Keep going. Thank you so much for watching and good luck with your research journey. I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now, guys.